Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CIW. My name is Colonist. Welcome to episode 1 of Gutcheck. We're going to start our Gutcheck tournament, finally. Now, I'm not sure whether I've uploaded, at this point, the test video that I did. If I didn't do that, then you didn't hear my entire tangent about the landscape of CIW, so I'll just go back and wait this time. But basically, this is the first round of our tournament. This is probably the 5th time I've recorded this match, and every single time the same person has won, and I'm going to hope that that doesn't happen today, but I'm not getting my hopes up that much. But it's good to be back, everyone. We're going to start out Eclipse, who's part of Jack Anderson's team, and Ace McAllister, who's part of the Shadows team, and we're probably going to divvy it up, and we're going to make the teams, we're going to add some people here as well, and basically what's going to happen is we're going to do this as much as we can. And I went into a tangent before, not here, but in the first episode. And by the way, Ace McAllister is not the United States champion. That's just from leftover from the save file. Oh no, he doesn't have it anymore. Never mind. I guess I went and fixed that. So anyway, basically what's going to happen is I'm going to upload as I can and record as I can. It ended up being really difficult in the 4 months that I was in college to get any sort of time to do any sort of recording. And then when I wanted to do the recording, either the files didn't load, because I used a legitimate camera, like a film camera that I used from school, and then those files didn't load. And then I recorded before, and then my computer broke, so it's just been absolutely chaotic trying to get videos out to you guys. And the thing coupled on top of that is that I have not had any sort of time to record in my scholastics, between college. And I'm really going to try. And here comes Eclipse.
From parts unknown, the vampire.
But I'm going to try and move forward. And, I'm really trying to push the envelope here. And I really want to be able to give you all the programming I can. But now I'm being realistic, because originally my plan was that you guys were going to get 3 shows a week, and as awesome as it would be for me to have Gutcheck and CIW Conquest and Saturday Night Smash all in one sort of hoopla, if you will, I don't think it's that feasible to say that I can make that happen, especially because I don't have nearly as much time on my hands now over winter break that I have, or at time at school, and I know it's going to be really difficult to do, but basically what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and get you as much programming as possible, which may end up being 1 show a week rather than one show like every 3 days, and apologies for not being able to do that more promptly. But you know what? I'm doing what I can. CIW is not dead, but it is going to look a lot different. We're probably not going to have a pay-per-view a month like we did in the summer. It's probably going to end up looking, I hate to use this phrase, but it's probably going to end up looking a lot like the TNA's reboot, in the sense that it's not going to be the same. Like, we're going to have good matches. I think the video quality is probably twice as good as it used to be. Eclipse leaving the ring for no reason whatsoever to start out this match. Referee Luke Goss, our Gutcheck referee. Senior referee John Clayton, who has taken over for CIW Conquest, as well paired off with Kevin James. And now Kevin James. Eclipse just using a snake eyes, and out goes Ace McAllister. Start out this match, but it's probably going to be like 4 pay-per-views a year. But the good thing, the advantage of doing that is that Saturday Night Main Event is going to be a lot more significant than it used to be, because when you look at the guys who were in Saturday Night Main Event, and they had good matches, but they were also like the top guys, and we're going to see a lot more. We're going to see a lot more opportunity to build up rivalries. We're going to be able to have more happen between wrestlers and between interactions with each other that I think is going to lead to some pretty solid pay-per-view matches, and it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great. The new CIW is going to be pretty cool. And if I have anything to say about it, nice dragon sleeper by Eclipse as Ace McAllister going to tap out here in the early going, but it looks like he got a rope break in. Referees count up to 4. Eclipse very smart, taking advantage of the referee's count as much as he could. And, you know, the future is uncertain, but I know we're going forward. And, you know, and that's why I compare it to TNA, and this also happens to be Gutcheck, as it turns out. So, you know, who knows? I don't know what the scenario is going to be, and what a vaulting clothesline. And down goes Ace McAllister, who's been physically dominated and dissected throughout the majority of this match, now being propelled over the top rope. Ace McAllister hasn't even gotten a shot in any offensive move, and McAllister, I don't think, is taking advantage of the opportunities. When he gets those counters, he is not doing what he needs to do. Going for a scoop slam, obviously not going to work on the much heavier, much larger Eclipse, and now Ace McAllister running away. And what a drop kick by the massive Knightly Mastodon. I don't know, I don't have any good names for him just yet. And now a Boston Crab. I don't think that Eclipse is from Boston, so it's like a parts unknown crab. But we're going to give you as much programming as we can in the time that we can. And now that the videos are going, I would like to argue, fairly smoother as far as quality is concerned. And it helps that I'm using a camcorder that I totally forgot I even owned. So why I ever thought that using my laptop's camera was a good idea beats the hell out of me. But now that the quality is a little better for the matches, maybe this will get more people to watch. Nice German suplex there by Eclipse. Ace McAllister being dominated. Has not even gotten an offensive blow in at this point. Went for a dive and kind of missed entirely. And that must be a new move in his moveset. He must not know how to execute that properly quite yet. And Ace McAllister needs to find some sort of way to exploit a limb or something. And this does not look good for McAllister. And, oh, reverse powerbomb. Face planted him right into the mat. And now Eclipse, I wouldn't be surprised if he went for a cover here, but Ace McAllister trying to stay in this. A left hand, a southpaw is McAllister. And Eclipse smartly grabs the ropes, not going to walk into a punch. Which I never understood, as far as ring chemistry, why, if you're propelled to the ropes, and why not just stop yourself instead of running into getting hit? But, you know, I'm not the one who created the way wrestling works nowadays. Eclipse, oh my god! Shades of the Big Van Vader with that shot that does that chest bump with a thunderclap-like maneuver to just knock him down, and now another parts unknown crab, and again exploiting the referee's count of 5, making sure he doesn't get disqualified. And Eclipse on a roll to start out this match. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ace McAllister get dominated here, but he is resilient. You gotta hand it to him. And now a Dragon Sleeper of his own. We saw Eclipse use this earlier in the match. Will this get Eclipse to tap out? My guess, oh hell no. And I would be correct in that assessment. And now Eclipse, looks like he's going to go for the Lunar Eclipse. Bam, there it is. And the cover, and I think this has got to be all she wrote. 2, 3, and for the 5th time in a row, Eclipse has won this match. And this is a little fishy, but maybe that's just the way that SVR 2007 is. Maybe the weight difference is just too insurmountable to overcome for the young Ace McAllister, who's making his debut here in CIW Gutcheck. And Eclipse has already been exposed to televised matches, and maybe that's what gives him the advantage. But the first match of Gutcheck goes to Eclipse of Jack Anderson's team, and we have a tag match coming up right now, and then we've got another match, our main event for tonight, which is going to come up after that. So it's good to be back. That's what's important right now, is it is very, very good to be back here in CIW. And you're going to see more of us. We don't know when in the capacity, but you will. Now, let's move right along. And now, let's go on to our first of 3 tag team matches that we're going to have to determine our Gut Check Tag Team Champions. From left to right, you have Magma and Buzz of Shadow's team going up against Valiente and Oli Cannoli of Magnitude's team. So this is Magnitude versus the Shadow, a Magnation battle, if you will. And probably a lot of people are wondering why I kind of let up on, for those TAW watchers, why I let up on my assaults of the Shadow, and really part of it is time. Part of it is that I just didn't have the time to make his life a living hell, and it's no disrespect to him, I just have better things to do than to hate him. And I'm pretty sure he won the pay-per-view match, if I'm not mistaken. But I honestly haven't seen the full pay-per-view yet, so I don't really know. But basically, my mentality on it... Actually, you know what? I'm going to look it up right now. Because the convenience of being able to do this with a camcorder is that I can still go onto the internet. And basically, I mean, honestly, this has been a lot easier not having to go through the laptop and being able to actually, like, have my laptop on me when I do this. And this tag match, now, the winner of this is going to face the winner of the other 2 tag matches, which are going to be in episodes 2 and 3. And then that triple threat tag match, hardcore triple threat tornado tag, that match is going to determine our first Gut Check champions. Gut Check Tag Team Champions, I should say. Turning Point. Shout out to Joshua Campbell, by the way. And I don't think I'm going to be able to look it up like this. So I'm going to have to go straight to TAW, which is fine. Totally awesome wrestling. If you don't watch it, watch it. Here comes Buzz.
The following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall. On the way to the ring, from Louisville, Kentucky, the Bull.
So, Buzz, who is one half of the tag team known as Buzzsaw, which if you like the Facebook page, you saw the last time you saw Buzzsaw was in a dark match against myself and Packard way back in the day. And that was somewhere in July, I think, that happened. And I'm just looking around here. I mean, I'll watch the rest of Turning Point later. But it's by the way, I've seen some WWE 15 stuff, which I'm not 100% like. It's fine. I don't really care much for 2K15. I mean, it looks basically the same, and maybe someone can inform me on what the difference is because I haven't seen it yet. Here comes the tag team partner of Buzz, Magma.
From parts unknown, the Ninja.
It's almost ironic that Magma, who was #1 picked by Shadow's team, but it's weird to think that Magma wanted more than anything else to be a part of Magnitude's team, and in his first match since being drafted to Team Shadow is facing Magnitude's team. You have to wonder if that's going to inspire success. And yeah, I did lose that match as I expected to, because no offense to Joshua Campbell, but I know for a fact, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I knew hardcore. There was not a doubt in my mind that he was going to put the Shadow over me, despite me going on that beginning win streak. But I knew instinctively that I was not going to win that match. And again, it's nothing against Joshua Campbell. I knew where that was heading. And were it my decision, I probably would have done the same thing. Here comes Oli Cannoli.
From Toledo, Ohio. From Ohio, the People's Champ.
But it was honestly, it was quite predictable that I was not going to go over in that match. And, you know, props to the Shadow for winning. And it was a hell of a match. I mean, it was a pretty hard-fought match. But let's just say that I knew the fix was in. And we'll leave it at that, and I'll let Shadow have his day. And Shadow and I have since resolved our issues. I have nothing against him. It was fun. It was fun making his life a living hell for the time that I did. But times change, and things move on. And there's one thing about wrestling. You could be a great guy, or you could be a piece of garbage at a moment's notice. And so I've made my face turn, and hopefully Shadow will be gracious enough to face turn. Actually, I wouldn't even mind tagging with him at one point, because I think me and the Shadow have proven each other that we are the best wrestlers out there right now, as far as in TAW. And actually, I might make a little ploy, if Joshua Campbell does decide to watch this today, that maybe the Shadow and I deserve a tag team championship run. But, you know, I'm not going to put words in his mouth. I'm not going to put booking into his mouth, because I've got my show to deal with, and it's not my place to be booking stuff on his show. Here comes Valiente, the second half of Magnitude's team. Valiente, which means valiant, obviously, in Spanish. He is a Mexican luchador, comes straight from AAA, great guy. He tows your car, and that's not a racist joke. I was making a joke about AAA instead of... You know what? Let's just forget I said it. Moving right along. So this tag match is going to determine the first entrant of 3 into the Hardcore Triple Threat Tornado tag match, which, admittedly, we've done a lot of those lately, but I enjoy them. They always seem to be a pretty solid match. I think it was Team Mischief, the last hardcore match we had, the one that I can remember was right before Massacre, and it was Noob Smoke versus Team Mischief, and that was one of the most memorable matches of 2014, I would like to say. And maybe I'll do like a top 10 or something along those lines, but here we go. Tornado tag team match, and no countouts, and double drop kick. Down goes Buzz immediately. Magma just standing there and watching. And the other option that Magma might have is that maybe he will aid Team. He might aid this team in their conquests, Team Magnitude, because he wanted to be part of Team Magnitude. Magma actually changed his name to M4GMA prior to the draft, but then the powers that be, i.e. Shadow's draft pick, caused him to go number 1 to the Shadow, and a German suplex nicely executed onto Oli Cannoli. So I don't know where his allegiance lies. And it seems to me, because Magma didn't change his name officially to M4GMA, that maybe he's now actually on board Shadow's team. I mean, it also has been 4 months since the draft, so they've obviously been able to get drinks and, get a cup of coffee or whatever. So they obviously know each other a little bit more than they used to. And Valiente with a nice swinging neck breaker, and down goes Buzz. And, the good thing about taking so long to return is that we also have a plethora, or a plethora if you speak regular English, of new Al Snow tweets of the day, which I'm excited to delve into. I've got 4 months of material that I could use. And now it looks like we're going to see another double team maneuver, this time from Team Shadow. Double vertical suplex, nicely executed. Referee Luke Goss still hanging in there, hasn't sucked yet. But then again, this is only episode 1, and we do have another match later. Nice, wow, what a spike DDT after a crucifix head scissors-like maneuver. And that is the luchador style of Valiente, which was really what attracted me to signing him onto CIW Gutcheck. And after wrenching the back of Magma, who did not tap out, this is a one fall to a finish tag match. Tornado tag rules, no countouts, because countouts pretty much ruin every tag match, which we've noticed. If we can recall, when we did the tag tournament in the beginning of CIW, and then 3 out of 4 of the qualifying matches ended in a countout. We had one pinfall victory, and it was Team Mischief, who ended up being the tag team champions. But we'll get to that when we get into Conquest. Right now, we're focusing on Gutcheck, and a nice knife-edge chop by Magma, and Valiente taking Buzz and groin attack, take a drink, if we all remember that little set of circumstances. And so now just back and forth, and down goes Buzz after a long shot, and an octopus stretch, abdominal stretch like maneuver from Magma onto Oli Cannoli. Now Magma being thrown into the corner, hard Irish whip. Valiente just walking away from Buzz. Buzz goes to punch him in the face. Valiente's like, I'm not even in the mood to fight with you right now. And now nothing is happening at all. And now Valiente's like, okay, now I'll throw one punch and then try and walk away again. So Valiente not dealing with Buzz's crap at all. I know another groin attack. Same deal. Take another drink. Meanwhile, Magma and Ole Cannoli on the other side of the ring. Which one of these teams will punch their way and low blow included, and now a shoulder breaker by Ole Cannoli. Might be called the Cannoli driver, I don't recall. But the cover now, 1, 2, 3. And Team Magnitude picks up a win for the 5th time in a row. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. Actually, I'm only 21. I'm turning 22 in March. But the point is, there's something going on. I don't know. I don't see why this team has to win every single time that I've done this recording. But we're just going to pretend that this is the first time this happened. So we're not going to blame SVR 2007. But it's just another reminder that sometimes things have to be influenced so that the same garbage doesn't happen every single match. But Team Magnitude, Valiente and Ole Cannoli will move on and advance in the championship. And remember, it's the first pick and the last pick are the ones that get drafted for this. And so, with that in mind, we are moving on to our main event. But these two punching their way into that triple threat hardcore tornado tag match for the Gutcheck Tag Team Championships. But with that said, it's main event time, folks. And our final match of this debut Gutcheck episode. The winner of the Gutcheck Winners Battle Royal from August Asylum way back in the day, Daryl McEwen, going up against Default, the man who had 4 eliminations in his Scouting Battle Royal. And Default, who is part of Jack Anderson's team, is going up against Joshua Campbell's Daryl McEwen. And this is going to be a solid matchup, I would like to think. And I'm hoping that in the long run, we're going to be able to do more of these in a row. Like, I'm going to try. I'm going to be gone for the week of the 3rd to the 10th of January. But I'm going to try and upload some videos there, too. I'm going to have some videos, like, prepared. And hopefully the internet is better at my girlfriend's house in New Jersey, so then I can just upload the videos there, which would be great. That would be actually kind of awesome. And it would save me some time, and it might just like overload with videos just so we get a little feel for getting back into the swing of things. Here comes Daryl McEwen.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. On the way to the ring, from Providence, Rhode Island, Danielle.
Well, Daryl looks pissed. And I don't know what's causing him to be pissed, but he looks legitimately angry. And I don't, maybe it's because he's been waiting for 4 months to make this debut, and maybe he's pissed off because this is like the 4th or 5th time we've had this match. But I don't know why he's so mad, but I could guess a few reasons. But hopefully, this Daryl looks, he's ready. He's got his game face on. I mean, I can't really tell with the sunglasses, which are kind of sweet. But Daryl ready to go, ready to take on the man who's as generic as it gets. Literally nothing changed with this guy. That's why he's called Default.
And the opponent, from Mobile, Alabama, the Superstar.
You know, the biggest problem with this whole having to record this 4 or 5 times is we had to pay everybody 4 or 5 times to come and do this, and we ended up not using any of the takes, so we lost a ton of money, which you could also argue is why we didn't have any shows for 4 months, and we finally just built back the money, and we've actually spent it on a better quality video. And I would like to think, and shout out in the comments below whether you think that this quality is better than any of the quality that I've used thus far, because I'd like to think it is, and I'd like to hope that we will be able to use this technique in the future. And by the way, might as well add this plug. This match and this main event of your evening brought to you by AB Productions, who is proud to present you CIW and CIW Gutcheck. And eventually we're going to get a little thing on the bottom. But for now, we're just going to have to do it audio and do our little sponsor list. So, thank you very much for AB Productions for backing us on this, and shout out to fellow commentators, Smooth Jazz, also known as Connor Rice, and A Bizzle, also known as Amir Boone. Both of them also part of AB Productions. And we've let that become a thing now, so we're going to have that as part of our YouTube show. AB Productions, started by a bunch of good friends of mine, and here we go. Your main event of tonight. The two-man, also part of our Gutcheck tournament, to determine our first CIW Gutcheck champion. And, you know, the other benefit of doing 4 pay-per-views a year is that this is going to allow us a lot more time to complete this tournament, more so than we've had. Because, I mean, we were going to have to do, when we got to the first pay-per-view of the year, or in December, we just have to do more first-round matches. And I didn't really want to have to do that. And now a wrist lock. Is Daryl McEwen going to tap out to a wrist lock? I would certainly hope not. But, you know, anything could happen. And wouldn't that have been an anticlimactic finish to that match if less than a minute in, a wrist lock ends up winning it? But you couldn't say that that wouldn't be something groundbreaking as far as match chemistry and the ending and start to a match. And would people be pissed off? Probably. But still, that's just the way it works. Referees count up to 1, and now Default grinding the face of Daryl McEwen. Default getting the better of this initial exchange. And the referee not going to do anything about the grinding of the forehead, mostly just going to count Default out. Daryl technically still in the ring, and now throwing Daryl back into the ring is Default. And both these two men, impressive showings in their initial matches, some of which some of you have seen. One that you've guaranteed seen, which is the Winners Battle Royal. And here's the thing about Gutcheck is this is Default's debut for those of you who weren't part of the captains of the Gutcheck process. And now Default 1 step ahead of Daryl McEwen this entire match thus far, and now just 5 straight right hands to the skull, right to the dome of Daryl McEwen, who's going to need to get back into this match. Sunglasses are now off. I don't think he had them on when the match started, but it's an observation that I can make at the moment. Default now leaving the ring, and you have to hand it to Default. He's picking his spots when he needs to pick his spots, but he's also staying on Daryl when he needs to stay on. Smart ring chemistry and ring awareness all the time by Default, and just a vaulting scoop slam, if that's what you want to call it. Default just looking down at a seated Daryl McEwen menacingly, and a nice clothesline, and down goes McEwen. And now a double axe handle straight to the chest. Referee Luke Goss still here. We are in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the original ECW arena. And nice backdrop, a German suplex by Daryl McEwen. He's going to need to get a little bit more than that if he wants to come back in this matchup and pick up a win for his team. Jack Anderson has already one man in the tournament, in the quarterfinals, I guess it would be. Or no, I guess not even. It would be the first round of 4 or 5. Because I know we have 32 men in the tournament. And if Default wins, then he will be facing another member of Jack Anderson's team in Eclipse, I believe, if that's the way the tournament's set up, but I'm not 100% sure of that. And Default with a nice suplex, and I believe that's one where we have people take a drink. If not, then don't, but if it is, then do. Basically, I've been out of this for 4 months, so I don't remember. Default, now the Default slam, and Daryl McEwen, who has been beaten to the punch this whole match. Is it over already? Wouldn't that be a shocker? No. Only 2. And Daryl McEwen is going to need to find his way back into this match somehow or another. Default has been all over McEwen. This has been almost as dominant an effort as the initial match, the Ace McAllister Eclipse match, in which Ace McAllister was physically dissected at the hands of the Dark Warrior of the Night, which sounds a lot better than whatever I said at the beginning of the show. And Default, the generic Default, going up against Daryl McEwen in a clothesline. Daryl didn't realize how far away he was, apparently, when he went to try for that grapple. And in Luke Goss's defense, he's done fairly well tonight. He has not sucked like he usually does. Referees count up to 1 of 10 because Default left the ring. Now Default, again, getting some air, picking his spots, and has been one step ahead of every move that Daryl McEwen has tried to throw at him. Every punch has been telegraphed, and you can't help but be impressed. And now looks like he's going for a catapult, and it looked like Daryl's head just bashed into that first ring turnbuckle, the lowest of them. And Daryl needs to get something going here. Maybe a groin attack. Maybe he needs to resort to some darker means, because so far this clean attempt has not done well for Daryl. And now a hammerlock, and Default breaking it up. This match between these two, this is just a taste of what Gutcheck is going to be now that CIW has relaunched, rebooted if you will. And you're going to see much more of this, and then you're going to see all your favorite superstars return for the first episode of Conquest, which should go up hopefully later this week. Depends on when I get recording time and when because I still work over the winter. It's just I'm more on my own than I am with the employer, who I was supposed to meet at 2 o'clock today, and she did not respond to me at all in any aspect. And I'm not sure why. Maybe she lost her phone. Maybe, I don't know. I don't have the answer for that. And holy crap, what a power bomb by Default. A vicious power bomb, and McEwen gets right back up. McEwen now trying to launch a bit of a comeback, and a clothesline hits Luke Goss more than it does Default. Referee now down. Pinfalls will not matter. And a groin attack by Default. The guy who shouldn't be doing the bad moves is doing the heelish moves. Daryl McEwen, this is not going to help his chances whatsoever. And Daryl in a bad way here. And stopped just as referee Luke Goss was coming to. I mean, it's not like Luke Goss would have done anything about it, even if he was up. He would have probably just been like, oh, no, don't do that, and then not done anything, because for some reason referees don't count that as an illegal maneuver. And now, 2 shoulder blocks, and down goes Default, but Daryl's going to need to be a lot more attentive and a lot more on top of the game if he wants to come out of this with a victory. Daryl now leaving the ring, Default going to the top, and not going to risk easily could be called a foolish maneuver on behalf of Default. Now both men outside the ring. Default and Daryl McEwen. This has been Default's match. And now a swinging DDT, and Daryl's been busted open. And referees count up to 3 now. Daryl needs to get up and make a play, or at least get back in the ring, which is probably what's going to end up happening. And Daryl now back in the ring, going to need to be a lot faster than he is, and a nice kick to the gut there, and a nice counter on Daryl's behalf. But Daryl's going to need to move faster, quicker, and stay on his opponent, none of which he has done thus far in this match. Has built up some offense. Now both men outside the ring and the respective opposite sides of the arena here in Philly, where we start out our very first Gutcheck match. We thank you very much for inviting us into your home on your laptops. And if you're watching this on a TV, I commend you, because why are you watching us on a TV? But you know what? I'll take it. And, maybe eventually we'll get a TV deal. I kind of doubt it, but you never know. The quality of the matches just got better. The quality of the videos just got better, so who knows? And, oh, what a face plant. And down goes Daryl McEwen, who has been prone to every attack that Default has launched, and this forearm right there in the corner. And Default just vicious strikes. And Default getting up now and slapping the taste out of the mouth springboard, and looks like he hit him. And out goes Daryl McEwen, who is on the outside, hurting badly, busted open already, and a vicious clothesline. And now McEwen down, Default getting in the ring, elbow drop, knees, but Daryl got the knees up. And you have to wonder how smart that move was on Default's behalf. Going up to the top rope in a move where he had clearly had the advantage of the match, and now a shot to the abdomen. And this may be the opening that Daryl needs But Daryl needs to be one step ahead of Default, which he has yet to do other than that telegraphed elbow drop. And we'll have to see how this goes. And now counters. Daryl back in this. 2 shoulder blocks and down goes Default. But Daryl McEwen, feeling the pain and feeling the pressure, you got to admit he's got to have a sense of urgency here going into the third portion of this match if you want to try breaking up the match into thirds, and went for a dive out into the front and completely missed. And now both men outside the ring again and going for a clothesline, countered by McEwen, countered by Default, counter by McEwen. Neither of these men willing to say die. A DDT, turnabout fair play on Default's behalf. Default using that same maneuver earlier in the match to bust Daryl McEwen open on the other side of the ring, on the outside as well. Knee to the gut by Daryl, and a vicious lariat, and a Russian leg sweep. The fans getting into this match. You can see the crowd has come alive. Daryl still in this match. Default still in this match. Who will take home the first win, the first main event of CIW Gutcheck? And I have to say, I could not be more excited to be calling this action here for you. This is CIW, and this is what it's all about. And Daryl now going for the Daryl driver. Landed it. Is Daryl going to make a comeback? Is he going to get the win? Drags him to the center of the ring. The cover. 1, 2. Is it over? 3. Wow. What a match. What a match. From beginning to end, that was a riveting opening main event here for CIW Gutcheck, and it's going to be tough for future Gutcheck episodes to end with such a match as we just saw. And both of these guys deserve as much applause as you could possibly give them. Every single fan on their feet. No one can blame them. What a win by Daryl, and what a valiant effort by Default. Both of these men should be proud of what they've accomplished here tonight. And your Al Snow, tweet of the day. I wonder if Ronald McDonald screams "I'm loving it" while making Sweet Clown love. And that is an answer I cannot answer, but perhaps Joshua Campbell and TAW can. But ladies and gentlemen, what an amazing match. Thank you for joining us, and CIW is back, baby. I'm the Colonist, and we'll see you next time.